In this video, I'm going to show you how to plan and simplify your finances as a digital nomad. I'm Sam Lepak, the founder of New Rich Nomads, the place where individuals go to find the secrets and shortcuts to maximize their work from home and travel lifestyle. And if you want to avoid having to worry about international transaction fees, ATM fees, exchange rates, etc., and instead want to streamline your credit cards, banks, taxes, and so much more as a digital nomad so you're set up for success when traveling, then you'll love this video. Keep watching. Before we start, I want to take a quick second to make it clear that I'm not a professional financial advisor, an accountant, or a lawyer, or a doctor. But I am an expert at smashing the like button and ringing the notification bell for the YouTube algorithm. And I'd like to think that you are too. So join me and become an expert by smashing that like button. Okay, now that we have that out of the way, I want you to know that I'm focused on helping you win early and as often as possible. With that in mind, I'm going to focus on the 80-20 rule here and cover the following digital nomad personal finance topics. These topics are banks, credit cards, ATMs, exchange rates, taxes, backup plans and tools, and 4 secret bonuses. All right, let's dive in and kick things off with the central point of your finances, banks. Okay, so when it comes to banks, I personally use 3 different banks: Ally Bank, Charles Schwab, and Chase. Let's first start with Charles Schwab. Charles Schwab High Yield Investor Checking Account is my main bank account when traveling as a digital nomad. Aside from their brokerage account bonus, the main reason that I use them is because of their $0 ATM fees worldwide. Yes, let me repeat that. $0 ATM fees worldwide. Other banks may have tens of thousands of free all-point ATMs or other ATM networks, but sometimes you might get unlucky and pick a non-network ATM and be charged unnecessary ATM fees. Or if you're looking for an ATM and you don't get phone service and you might not be able to pull up the ATM locator map, then you're taking a random chance on finding an appropriate ATM and might also have fees as well. Either way, I recommend to make it simple and use Charles Schwab's High Yield Investor Checking Account and get 0 ATM fees. A few quick notes on Charles Schwab. 1, you have to open a brokerage account with a Charles Schwab checking account, but you do not have to put any money into that account or invest anything. 2, they have a 24/7 chat support on their website that I've used in emergencies. And 3, you can deposit checks in their mobile app. Other banks with 0 ATM fees worldwide include Betterment and also Starling Bank, a UK bank. Okay, next up is Ally Bank. I use Ally Bank as my backup bank when traveling. Apart from a 24/7 online chat and phone support, it's a great backup in case something happens with your main checking account, such as fraud. Additionally, they have competitive savings account APYs in which you can easily transfer money from a savings account into a checking account and in a pinch, withdraw cash from an ATM. Okay, before I forget, another highly recommended digital bank and a recently newer bank is Varo Bank. All right, last up is Chase. Chase is my 3rd traveling bank because apart from getting the free money from the sign-up bonuses, if I need to deposit cash, it's the only physical bank of the 3. To make it simple, I keep the minimum balance in their checking and business checking accounts to avoid Chase's monthly minimum fee. Plus, I have their debit card with me in an absolute emergency, but I've never had to use it before. Before we move on to the popular topic of credit cards, I want to dive a bit deeper into ATMs. Again, recommend using Charles Schwab and getting 0 ATM fees worldwide. Okay, a few quick important rules on using ATMs. Golden rule number 1, never ever accept the currency conversion. When the ATM asks if you want to accept or decline the conversion rate on the screen, always hit decline conversion rate. When you decline the conversion rate, this means that your local bank will exchange the money. This will usually give you a better exchange rate in comparison to the ATM bank, especially if you have a more established bank. If you choose instead to accept the conversion rate, you'll get a guaranteed exchange rate, but the ATM bank can add up to 10% service fee on top of your exchange. This is where you lose the money. But you can avoid this by hitting decline conversion rate. Also, I recommend prioritizing going into a physical bank to use an ATM and use the ATMs of the more popular banks in your location since they'll be more likely to be secure. Also, when using an ATM, avoid withdrawing even numbers of cash. For example, one time in Mexico, I withdrew 1,000 pesos and they gave me 2 500 peso bills. With bigger bills, it makes it more difficult to negotiate and purchase items since sometimes the vendors may not have change for such a big bill. As a result, it's ideal to enter into a custom amount, ideally an odd number, where you can get smaller size bills. Lastly, it goes without saying, but make sure to hide your PIN and watch your back when using an ATM. Okay, now it's time to discuss digital nomad travel credit cards. While this could be a whole separate video, and maybe it will be in the future, for now, we're gonna keep it simple yet effective. All right, so my international credit cards look like this: the Chase Sapphire Reserve, the Amazon Prime card, and the Apple credit card. Additionally, I have many other credit cards such as the Chase Freedom Unlimited, the Chase Flex, the Chase Unlimited, and a local bank credit card, but all of those have international transaction fees. So I don't use them when I travel unless an emergency. To make it easy for you, I'm only going to focus on the credit cards with zero international transaction fees. Okay, first up is the Chase Sapphire Reserve. This is pretty much the holy grail of travel credit cards. I use it for over 95% of my transactions when traveling, and its benefits speak for itself. $300 annual travel credits, 3 points on dining and travel worldwide, global entry or TSA pre-check fee credits, complimentary airport lounge access with Priority Pass, a 24/7 access to customer service specialists, a bonus points intro, and 50% more points when redemption using through the Chase portal. The big secret underutilized perk here is the phone support service. 90% of the time, within a minute of calling, you'll be connected to a live person. A pro tip, I recommend to create a contact in your phone with their customer support phone numbers in case you lose your Sapphire Reserve. Also, with the Sapphire Reserve, I want you to know that I've had several successful travel claims such as delayed and canceled flights, travel evacuation, overcharging, baggage claims, and much more. Additionally, I've had my credit card stolen 2 times while traveling abroad, and I've had a new credit card expedited shipped to my Airbnb across the world, once in Sweden and once recently in Ecuador. While I could talk about this card all day long, let's move on to the Amazon Prime card. Mainly, the perks of having this card is for buying stuff on Amazon. But what most people don't realize is that it also has zero international transaction fees, plus a $0 annual fee. I primarily use this credit card as my backup. Plus, I buy stuff on Amazon to be shipped back to my house when I make a pit stop back into the US. Okay, last up is the Apple credit card. Aside from the sleek white metal card, it also has zero international transaction fees, a $0 annual fee, and serves as another backup credit card. Also, it should be noted that American Express also has several great travel credit card options, such as the Platinum and Green cards. But the only drawback is that it might not be accepted by all merchants, whereas Visa is generally accepted worldwide. I recommend taking a look at NerdWallet in the Points Guide as credit card resources for easily being able to compare digital nomad travel credit cards. I'll be honest, if you've been following the recommendations so far, you shouldn't have to worry too much about exchange rates or local currencies, unless you withdraw too much cash or come across a large amount of cash in that local currency. If this is the case, do not worry. Before you do anything, research the exchange rates. The real way to know if you're getting the best exchange rate is to know what the current rate is. I recommend to download either the Xcurrency app or the XE app, both available in Android and iOS. Usually, the 2 best places to exchange currency or buy local currency are usually in the following spots. The first are banks in your respective destination because they're likely to have the lowest currency exchange fees. Also, airport currency exchange counters typically offer better rates than city center equivalents. Besides that, if you plan out your cash right, you should only need to withdraw cash from ATMs and just have a little bit of local currency. Again, I'm not an accountant, but in my experience, the big draw to being a digital nomad / full-time traveler is leveraging the tax break of FEIE, otherwise known as Foreign Earned Income Exclusion. At a very high level, this is avoiding paying federal income tax and, depending on your state income tax as well, only up to a certain amount of income. Right now, in 2021, that amount is up to about $108,000 in income, but fluctuates every single year. To be able to be eligible for FEIE, you must meet one of the following 3 criteria. The first criteria is a United States citizen who is a bona fide resident of a foreign country or countries for an uninterrupted period that includes an entire tax year. Second, a U.S. resident alien who is a citizen or national of a country with which the U.S. has an income tax treaty in effect and who is a bona fide resident of a foreign country or countries for an uninterrupted period that includes an entire tax year. Or third, a U.S. citizen or a U.S. resident alien who is physically present in a foreign country or countries for at least 330 full days during any period of 12 consecutive months. The last criteria is mostly used by digital nomads. From FEIE alone, I've been able to legally avoid paying over $20,000 in taxes in just the last few years. Now, if you're looking for more resources on this, I personally recommend contacting nomadtax.io, as I've had an amazing experience working with them the last few years. Another popular digital nomad tax-related resource is Nomad Capitalist. This resource is usually suitable for more high net worth / income earners. While I'm not a big fan of backup plans, since a backup plan is planning for failure, it's not a bad idea here to have a backup finance plan as a digital nomad. There are two big things I want to cover here. The first being emergency cash and extortion cash. The first part is pretty straightforward. Have emergency cash in case of an emergency. For emergency cash, I personally carry around 60 USD in $20 bills, one in my wallet and two in my backpack, so it's separated. I recommend using USD since it's pretty much accepted worldwide. Also, if you're in a country for a while, you can have also an emergency cash of that local currency. Okay, the second part of this is the extortion cash. The truth is, there are countries where you might get extorted by police and other people, so it's important to have some extra cash to bribe them. I recommend to keep this separate from your other cash so whoever's trying to extort you only sees that you have this cash and not your full wallet full of all the other cash. These are definitely for more extreme cases, but it's important to be prepared in these situations. Okay, the second thing is backup payment methods. As for a backup payment method, this is pretty much having a third-party tool in which you can pay across borders. Common examples include PayPal, TransferWise, Payoneer, etc. They're also highly effective if you own a business for paying contractors or employees. All right, it's the moment you've been waiting for and my favorite part, the secret bonuses. This time, there are 5 of them. First secret bonus is to take pictures of your cards. This first secret bonus is pretty simple. Just take a picture of all your cards, both credit and debit. This way, in case you lose all your cards, you can still purchase something by having someone manually enter in your card number. Or you can be a nerd like me and memorize them with the chunking method. Pro tip, this also includes passports, driver's license, and other identification cards. This allows you to sometimes get away with showing a picture of your ID instead of having to carry these documents during a night out and risk potentially getting it lost or stolen. Okay, the second bonus is separate your card locations. In other words, don't carry all your credit cards and debit cards in one location because if your wallet or backpack gets stolen or lost, you'll still have backup cards. For example, I only carry my main cards, driver's license, and emergency cash with me in my wallet. More specifically, I carry 20 USD for emergency cash, my Chase Sapphire Reserve credit card, my Amazon credit card, my Charles Schwab debit card, and my US driver's license in my wallet. And then in my backpack, I'll have my backup credit card. So my Apple credit card, my Chase Freedom Unlimited credit card, my Ally Bank card, and my Chase debit card, along with 40 USD and my passport. Again, this is just reducing the risk and hedging your bets in case something happens. The third secret bonus is to negotiate everything. It goes without saying, nothing is set in stone while traveling. Everything can be in a negotiation, so negotiate. For example, if you haven't seen my video about how to save over 50% on your next Airbnb stay, then click on the link above to get the exact scripts I've used to save over $10,000 on Airbnbs. Okay, besides that, again, negotiate everything. There's a strong chance that someone recognizes you as a foreigner and will charge you more, so always negotiate. A solid resource for learning to negotiate well is Chris Voss's masterclass and his book, Never Split the Difference. Okay, the fourth secret bonus is sharing expenses. More specifically, using Splitwise. If you travel with other people and split the cost, then I highly recommend the app Splitwise. Simply download the app, create a group, and invite other group members, and then log shared expenses in the app. You can log in local currencies too. Then, at the end of the trip, you can square up with Venmo, PayPal, or other money transfers. It basically keeps a running log of all your transfers, and you don't have to keep going back and looking at receipts, etc. All right, I've saved my best for last. And the fifth secret bonus is a digital nomad finance spreadsheet cheat sheet that I've used to track my income, investments, savings, expenses, both segmented and recurring, and also my financial goals. Additionally, I've included step-by-step instructions and a video on how to use this cheat sheet to automate your digital nomad finances to just 30 minutes a month. Head down to the video description, click on the link, and get your free cheat sheet. Enjoy. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel right now. Just click on the subscribe button below this video. Also, if you want exclusive work from home and travel secrets that I only share with subscribers, head over to newrichnomads.com and join the newsletter. It's free. Now I want to turn it over to you. Which tactic from today's video are you going to try first? Are you going to get a Charles Schwab checking account so you can avoid ATM fees worldwide? Or download the Digital Nomad Finance Cheat Sheet? Whatever it may be, let me know by leaving a comment below. Leave a comment! As possible. With that in mind, I've got this awesome statue in the background so you can really focus on these big 80-20 wins that I'm going to show you.
Leave a comment.
Leave a comment.